First, we're gonna have an invocation by Isaac.
Just bow your heads with me. O Father our God, we come before you in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. You are holy, holy, holy. The whole earth is full of your glory. This very morning, each of us awoke with air to breathe and lungs to breathe it. You have blessed us with this beautiful county to care for and to raise our families. Yet in light of your righteousness and the blessings surrounding us, I confess that we in this room and in our county beyond take your gifts that you have given to us, and each one of us, either as we stand here today or before the grace of God was shed abroad in our hearts, we often hate you, the gift giver. The scripture says that we are haters of God apart from the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ. So, oh how we deserve your just judgment in this room and this county. Yet, oh the hope that we have in you, for you have promised that all who call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. What a promise! That even one's eye may be saved. That any in this room may be saved, that this county may be saved. You call us to choose ye this day whom we shall serve. It is Christ or chaos. I pray for all who are here today, that in our homes, the leaders here in our county, that Christ would be exalted. I pray that the truth would be the currency of the county, and that justice would ring out throughout our sweet homeland. It is in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Isaac. So let's go ahead and have a roll call, please.
Fitch? Here. Stancil?
Here.
Hobbs? Here.
Okay, review of agenda. Any conflict of interest?
I have an issue with the agenda. I have never, in all of my years, what is possible motion for action without resolutions? And we've stated twice there is a conflict with the county attorney. This probably should be stricken from the agenda if there is a conflict.
There's not a conflict, and when we get there, we can, if you still have reservations, but, motion for action is allowed under Iowa code. We don't have to have resolution to take action. Okay, so, other than that, we do have an amendment to the agenda to add Brian Marquart, the Economic Development Board, there, because we don't want to feel rushed during public comment. I don't know where he's at, but, hopefully he's here, so when we get to him, we can, so if you can remind me, I forget.
I would move to the end of the agenda to include Ryan. Just put him under the,
After
department heads.
Department heads.
I'll second that.
Second, any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, going on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
so moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we're now into department head reports and discussion. Michelle?
There you go.
Good morning, Michelle Brandt, Madison County Auditor. Our accounting update, we have been meeting with our software support company, our team, weekly. This was to address our inability to progress through the balancing month ends. which is necessary to complete the annual accrual report to the Department of Management. I've shared my concerns frequently, not only here at the BOS meetings, but most recently in a direct email to Supervisor Stancil on January 21st. As you are aware, we will not be able to certify our budget if this is not done. It could result in us not being able to levy additional money from this year, and our county will not be able to adjust for inflation. It was suggested at the last team's meeting call, which we do again weekly with Solutions, that we employ a forensic auditing firm due to the dire situation with the accounting balance, the balancing process. They indicated, I want to read very loud and clear, this is not a reflection on our ability or our efforts. We have tried everything we can think of. We've worked long hours. It's just they indicated that the system may be complicated by previous bad acts of the treasurer's office, that we know now is in trouble. So, it is with that, I guess I just don't know how to be more direct and get attention from what we need to do. I'm looking for acquiescence from the supervisor and the treasurer's office to bring someone in. I believe this would need to be at your discretion and your direction. To execute services from an outside scope of our annual audit, if we want to go ahead and call Maudlin and Jenkins in early, I would ask you, please work with the treasurer to determine the best course of action. I don't think anyone who is a part of the county, employment or otherwise, is gonna feel very good next year when we have no more money in our budget and we are mandated by law to give certain raises, okay? So that is a very big concern. On to a positive note, state valuations were completed as of yesterday, January 26th. I thought I had them done last week. There was some significant work caused by the dissolution of the Orient-Maxburg School District. We had to create new tax districts and 2 new TIF districts. So I am now, have enough knowledge to be dangerous. I wanna thank, the assessor, for working together, along with the state and with Solutions to get that wrapped up. The budget process timeline, I had anticipated not being here today. My appointment has been moved out another week. Again, I think it's a blessing because I will be farther down with the input of the revenues and the ancillary budget areas that I think you'd find beneficial. I don't expect to meet any time regarding the budget or necessary before I get back mid-February. Let's see, I'm gonna be fine tuning the IT budget and Department 51. And then of course, it remains on there, the future planning of a 5 and 10-year plan. The state auditor report, we requested and extended, or actually received an extension from the state of Iowa for the fiscal year 25 audit to June 30, 2026. I did talk to David Irwin and copied him on that information. So I'm working on starting a strong communication link with him this week. Again, blessings. The courthouse custodian, the voting equipment has been ordered, shipment is set up expected into February, and Solutions has installed all the new SharePoints. The vault room is all but done. We received, I want to thank Caldwell Parish and the ambulance department for delivering and setting up a new conference table for free. The plan for installing the workstation and the absentee voting, for the absentee voting process that's in process. And we won't be adding it to the resource for meetings just yet. We need a couple weeks for that. There are other areas of concentration. The italicized verbiage on that report is for your eyes because it is of the security nature and not subject to the public. Everything else I have is on hold. I think I have Michaela has an update on our elections and the primaries and the caucuses coming up, and I would like her to defer to her now.
I don't have anything on the caucuses, but I just did have two things on, poll workers and a candidate filing. So the candidate filing window for, the primary elections is gonna be March 2nd to March 20th for anyone wanting to run the primary. So if you're running for, county supervisor, county treasurer, anything that has a party, affiliation on it, that's gonna open up March 2nd, and that goes through March 20th. Our office can only take paperwork for, people filing at the local level, so if you're running for state office or higher, that gets filed with the Secretary of State. But I did want to kind of highlight there was a significant change that is now effective for the filing period for nonpartisan or independent candidates, so that's now moved to June 2nd. So this affects all of our townships, trustees, and clerks. You can no longer file, I think it used to be almost as far as like August. So for every township trustee and clerk who is gonna be up for election this year, your filing deadline is on June 2nd. That is also the day of primary. Please try to file your paperwork before that, because I promise you I will not have time to look it over on primary day. And if you have anything wrong with it, we're not gonna be able to let you know in time to fix it. So all of the township clerks and trustees will be getting a letter sent out shortly close to that with an affidavit of candidacy in that as well. You don't need any signatures, you just gotta, fill it out, get it notarized, bring it to our office, we can notarize it as well. And then for people running in the primary, I did just make some candidate packs. It's got the candidate primary guide, an affidavit of candidacy, and signature sheets. So I'll leave those in the back. And then the other thing I have to add is that we are recruiting poll workers pretty much all around the entire county. We redraw our poll worker board every 2 years, so it kind of just goes to a blank state. We've had a lot of poll workers return, but we do need new people, specifically younger people would be great, people who are good with computers. If you guys have students in high school, we can take high school students as well. They would have to be 17 years old at the time they work an election, but they stay on that list for 2 years. So if you have a kid who's 16, they're wanting to work the primaries, and they're gonna be 17 by then, they can still sign up for that. So I also have some flyers with just a little bit more information, and I will leave those in the back as well.
Thanks.
Michelle, anything else?
I noticed that the Annex doors were on the agenda. Do you wanna talk to Chip now so he can go back to work?
That would be great. Thank you.
What was your question?
Just the status on when, because it's been now 20 weeks since we approved it, and we were told a maximum of 16, so do we know when they're gonna?
2 extra weeks? Yeah, the aluminum.
It's too cold.
So it's the aluminum. Do you wanna step up and just give your technical?
The tariffs on the aluminum is what's got our delay. I'm gonna find out more this week.
Can you find out, cause that's too long of a delay, cause I've talked to other contractors and they're able to get them, so I don't know if it's their supplier, maybe we get it from the supplier, but can you find out what the
Yep.
issue is?
Certainly.
And then just let the board know.
It was too cold, isn't it, to put sealants in? They wanted to wait. Was that another reason?
No.
No, it was just the aluminum. Okay.
The tariffs on aluminum is delayed, as you remember, clear back when I proposed that meeting last year, it was a 16 to 18 week window then.
Okay. All right, thanks. So that was easy.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk
So
about?
back to your original concerns, regarding certifying the budget. Yes, you've mentioned it, what's the plan, I guess? A forensic audit is what you're recommending?
That's what Solutions is recommending, and they've been working along with us all along.
We
So-
do have it in the fiscal 26 budget, we do have
To do an
to
audit.
do it
We
for
said
forensic audit.
So how, are you initiating that then?
No,
or-
that will not be me who initiates that.
For the treasurer
Yes,
Okay.
or the board.
and or the board.
So that's
It's
why
being
I'm wondering.
That's why I said
what we do to get it.
you guys need to talk with
I think we need to consider a special meeting to talk about it and maybe do a resolution to. ask.
Again, I'm trying to communicate.
Right.
When I find out something, when something gets escalated, I would be remiss to not share it with you.
Right.
And that's why I've been emailing and,
Right, do you, regarding the budget, the other meetings and stuff like that, cause there's a couple departments we still haven't really met with.
which ones?
I haven't had a chance, I sent you a list.
Yes, but I got all, everybody who's gonna meet with you is been met with you.
Oh, yeah,
The
I'm
rest
saying for you, to sit down with you, like Department 99, we haven't gone over that, and that's a pretty big.
I think we can pump the brakes if you're okay with that for 2 weeks. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
It's the best I can do, guys. I mean, I really wanna get the worksheets and the revenue built, cause that's gonna be really critical for me to leave that in place.
Okay, all right,
I don't think you want that not to be in place.
So
It's that
Michelle,
time.
at the next regular meeting, if the treasurer deems we need a forensic audit, can that be on that next regular meeting?
Well, I think you guys need to have a conversation.
With her first?
I would be love to be a part of that conversation, but I just don't have that time. That's why I wanted you guys to know.
well, it sounds like time is of the essence, so this is something, a decision.
Absolutely,
probably
and that's
need
why I
to
said,
make, and I'd rather not wait 2 weeks.
yeah, I mean, that's
So,
fine.
So.
That'll give Michaela a chance to train a new board clerk.
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, so that's why I said she does
Oh,
not think it's
I don't.
necessary.
Okay,
I told Michelle that, so,
Oh, necessary for what, to have a meeting, you'll just call it and we'll do it?
no, I don't think it's necessary to have a forensic audit.
Oh,
okay,
So, when I do think it's necessary, I will come to you and I will talk to you, and if you guys want to know my reasoning, I sure can tell you that.
okay.
But,
okay,
thank
well,
you, Ken.
thank you,
Yeah.
Kylie. So we'll work it out and we'll figure it out, and if any of us have questions, we can ask Kylie.
And I had that conversation with Solutions as well. I talked to Hannah and explained it and as well.
Okay. All right,
Alright.
so do we know when the accruals will be done?
Right, that's something I'm working on, and I promise I'm working on them very diligently.
It's not an ability or an
I
effort
know,
thing.
I
It
know,
isn't.
it's a mess, and I understand that, so I just wanna make sure that we are giving you the resources that you need.
Yeah, for
To
sure.
empower you and your
For sure.
staff to
Yes.
get things done, so you're not
Mhm.
frustrated up to here.
Nope, I completely get that, and I appreciate that, and I'm really finally at that point where I have staff, I have staff, and trained staff, and so I'm actually going to be able to pull my first deputy over to help me,
Okay,
and so that's why I don't wanna have that, that audit, because I don't wanna spend money that this county doesn't have, so
okay,
I wanna use him and my resources
perfect. That's
first, and then once we get through that, if I feel that we do need that help and we do need that extra, then I will for sure come to you,
Okay,
for sure.
well,
Thanks,
just know that it's in the budget, cause we put it in
Yes.
there,
$100,000 in there.
Yes.
so it's a little less now, cause we had those bills come in,
Mhm.
so I think it's like 60,
I'll have to check that
Yeah,
out,
check
because that was
that.
a different line item.
that was a different line item.
It was.
So check and see where things that's posted, but anyway, I know money's in the budget for it,
Yeah.
so you just keep us posted, and if
Yeah.
that's something. you
And that's
need-
kind of my purpose is I'm stepping out now, and it's you guys.
All right.
Fair?
Yeah.
So it
Thank you,
sounds like
Michelle.
you have it handled. Thank you.
Yeah,
So if you're comfortable, you just keep us in.
I will.
In the loop, and if we need a special meeting, we'll.
yes, for sure, I will, I promise.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else, Jessica? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Okay. Next one on the agenda is Mike.
Good morning, board. Good morning, everyone. This is a rare time that I actually don't have a resolution. Maybe it'd be a good time to talk about funding in a 5-year program since everybody's here. That put everybody to sleep real quick. I'll make this very short since I don't
I didn't
have.
bring my pillow.
Oh, yeah, didn't bring your pillow. I'll make this short since I don't have a lot, but I still want to keep you informed on kind of what's going on. There's been a social media release. There was a resolution here, about a month ago, maybe December, we'll say December-ish, to put Hollowell Covered Bridge as designated as the 2026 most endangered properties. I have an email now that's official that says that is happening, and there will be more stuff coming to the engineer's office in regards to a press release. But so what that means is it gets a little more advertising for maybe a future project and maybe some grants. So that's a good thing. With kind of the colder temperatures in the road department, there's a few days that both for equipment and people, we chose to not haul rock or be outside those days and did equipment maintenance, but we're back on that again since it's warmed up and it's a balmy teens right now. So that's kind of what's going there. So a little bit of rock hauling, some brush cutting, that type of stuff's going on when we're not doing snow removal, which is kind of nice not to have a lot of snow removal. Some people like the snow. I see dollars. Just so you know, it costs about $30,000 to run a day for snow removal. Just kind of a little
The
tip.
whole county?
Whole county.
Was it more than that last year when we had that big snow?
Bigger snow, that's typical snow. So every time you see a snowflake, that's 30 grand, so you kind of, okay. So I guess we're lucky we just got the cold and not some of the ice and snow that's happening in other parts of the United States. Hope the best for them. The other thing that's going on is, as I've talked about before, is we've had some staffing shortages. We're to the point where we're advertising. I believe we have some interviewing coming up for some of that. If anybody is interested, check the website. There's those things out there. We'll try and get it filled as we can. Hopefully we can get staffed up as we come into more of our outdoor maintenance and that type of season. Otherwise, I don't have very much. I'll yield to the next people to come on.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Brady, you are up.
Good morning.
Morning, Brady.
So far this month, we've had 93 calls. You can see the breakdown there. It's about average. We're averaging about 3.5 to 4 calls a day. Of course, some days are more, some days are less. So on the 9th, had a meeting in Michelle's office for the FEMA Go. We think we kind of got that figured out finally. That was for the $59,000 grant that we got for the power load systems for the ambulance that we've been working on for 2 years to try to get that paperwork all figured out and finalized. And we got an email that said we did it.
Yay.
So, God willing, we
No
did it.
clawback.
So hopefully that'll work. Also on the 9th, we had a CPR class. Again, working with, reach out to some of the departments, get some CPR classes when they got some time. On the 14th, we had a meeting with the hospital, talking about some transport stuff. The 15th, we had a Central Iowa Healthcare Coalition meeting, they go over a whole bunch of stuff, anything from supply chain issues to Alert Iowa testing to Incident Command 2200, just all kinds of different scenarios with the state going on.
Are you having supply chain issues?
Not too bad. Once in a while, medication, we have some medication issues. We're working with that with the pharmacy. Montrose takes pretty good care of us. Some things, if there's a supply chain issue, we can get extensions on medication, even though the medication's expired. We can get extensions from the manufacturer, our medical director, and the board of pharmacy. All three would have to be in agreement. We can extend the life of that medication. We'll keep it on the drugs. Still potent, still works. Doesn't go bad just because it expires. They want us to buy new is why it expires. So as long as everybody's in agreement, we can still use the medication. 21st, again, we had another CPR class. 23rd, we had an Iowa Trauma Systems class, which was very good. Talk about the trauma system in the state of Iowa, how it works for the hospitals. Tonight, we're actually having a Madison County Hazard Mitigation Plan. Mitch is putting that on. It's going to be at the EMS building. There's going to be a whole bunch of people there working on the county's hazardous mitigation plan with CCOG. One of the guys from there is going to come up. It's our first meeting we're going to have, so that'll be good to work with other departments. And then on the 29th, we're gonna have our opioid task force meeting. So far, that's all we've got.
Does any of this weather?
We haven't had too much with the cold. We've had a few incidents, but nothing major. We're there pretty quick. So most people are bundling up. We haven't had any real cold issues too bad anyway, so. All right.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks, Brady. All right, we have Mitch. Safety Committee.
Good morning, you guys. Good morning, everybody in attendance. Hello, I'm Mitch Johnson. I'm the emergency manager for the county here. Brady just gave a quick update that we are just getting the ball rolling on our hazard mitigation program, and I think it's really great because, like I said, we do have a lot of different people and working together, different entities. We're bringing in private industry. We're getting other department heads. That's not necessarily what I'm up here to talk about today. I've been working pretty extensively. John Stetzel got a hold of us last year and let us know that we were not in very good standing with our workman's comp. We've had some claims that we haven't necessarily handled right. We haven't investigated. We haven't figured out how to do it. So we started digging, finding some root cause, what's going on. But we don't really necessarily have a working safety committee that had been working up until Jess, Kylee, and Kelly really took a lot of initiative, and they wanted to be aggressive and work on it before there's no chance to come back. So John got us in contact with Scott Smith, who's a senior safety risk improvement advisor for Iowa Municipalities Worker Comp Association. That's who we get our workman's comp from. We met him in December. We met him twice in January. He's meeting with our small steering committee, which is the four of us. It's myself, Jess, Kylee, and Kelly, where we will do initial reviews of anything turned in, anything coming on, any potential upcoming, and then how can we train on this so people don't know. But there's certain things we need to know. How do we let people know what happened without letting them know who it happened to and what happened? So there's a lot of little legality things that we're trying to make sure that we don't get ourselves into bigger trouble by trying to do the right thing but doing it the wrong way. So he's come down. He's gonna continue to meet with our steering committee, and he's teaching us some things that we need to do, like get with department heads once a month, go over any claims that we've had, kind of talk about things. But then we also had Steve, who showed up to a meeting, and Steve's like, we need to have an agenda if we're gonna have a meeting. So it's really neat in this, because we got a lot of departments that are working together great. And believe it or not, there is a lot of people in this county that are willing to work together. And it's been fantastic. I mean, the way that Scott has really Jess has really taken this serious. So he has had a great couple meetings with us. Kylee notices things she doesn't need to notice. She pays attention to a lot of things. She brings it to attention before it happens. So they think we have the right foundation to get back on track. He is just going to teach us with how to do that. And that is we're gonna actually be the first county they've ever had to volunteer to enroll in what they consider their high-level risk management action plan. That's to help people who have got out of control, help people who don't have a real safety culture, learn how to build one, and learn how to wrangle it in. So they're just little tips, little things, and the fact we weren't gonna be forced to go into that, because we eventually would have been forced to go into that. But we are willing to, and I am willing to do whatever we need to do in the next couple of years to get through this, to get us graduated, to get us our rates back to where they're supposed to be. What Scott seemed most impressed about was that we weren't doing this just to get our rates lower. We were doing this just to make sure that none of us had to call somebody's wife or had to call somebody's kids or say they're not coming home or meet me at the hospital. So we have to find a better way to look out for our employees. And seeing the dedication that the other people in the steering committee have had, and then working with Scott has been doing great. Him and his boss are gonna come down, they're gonna actually meet with the Board of Supervisors, and they're gonna present this, just to see if that is something that we can all be on board with. I'm more than willing to do this, to be able to help anybody, so that way we never have to make a call, so that way all of our employees can go home in at least the exact same shape they showed in every day, and we can bring a strong safety culture. And we could work together, because once you get it in your mind, then it's easy to look out for other people. It's not just everybody looking out for themselves. I saw somebody slip yesterday, nothing happened, did they turn it in? No, they didn't. Well, then we can discuss why they slipped. Is this something that could have been an accident? That's the best thing we can have, is somebody almost got hurt but didn't, and then we can learn from it, find ways to improve and mitigate from it. So that's gonna come from our meetings, it's gonna come from things being turned in, but it also is going to come, we have to establish to people that we mean it, that we're serious. We want this to work. We want you to turn in near misses so we can learn from them, so you can protect your other employees. So it's gonna be a bit of a long road, but we are working together on it well. Seeing the buy-in that we have, I mean, Scott is so impressed that we actually have a board of supervisors on there, because that doesn't normally happen. So then the toughest thing for them to ever do is to get buy-in. And the way that he's walked in, with Kylee have stories that she saw somebody almost getting hurt, or thoughts of upstairs, you know, and you could see the emotion in her eyes, so he knows it's serious. So they are more than willing to work with us, but we've had people get us on the right track. And it's going to be a road working together. I more so wanted everybody to know that there's a lot of people working together on this. And it's pretty neat. It's not partisan, there's nothing like that going on. Everybody's working together for the same cause. And maybe if we start to work together that way, we can have other aspects of the county that work together that'll be too. So we're in the very infancy. I'll be more than willing to come up and speak with anybody anytime they want on this. Scott will have a lot more answers for everybody when he comes to speak here in a week or two. But we've met, I don't know, several months in a row. We're figuring out how to do it. You know, we had like I said, with Steve over there, we had to learn a little trial and error, be like, all right, well, that was kind of a waste of everybody's time. Let's not do that one. Let's get a little better agenda. So that way we can have something, you know, that we know for sure what we're doing, what we're talking about. So we're in the infancy of it, but we're working towards it. And hopefully in a couple of years, we're going to be just one of the beacons of what our county can be. And when we all work together, and when we don't do partisan things, and when we just come together for the greater good. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything on it.
I just have one. Is this something that, because in the private sector, we did this all the time. We had training every year. And after you do it for like 2 or 3 years, it's almost automatic. You see something. Like, for instance, a rug is curled up. That's a safety issue. Someone could trip on it. I don't even think about it, just go and I fix it. But that's because of the constant reminders we have. Is that the thought that they want to do?
Yes,
Okay.
we need to prove that safety is something we're serious about. We're not just trying to check a box so we can get our rates lower.
Okay.
But that's gonna come with, we're going to start discussing it at meetings. We're going to start bringing it up in other aspects. We have to make sure that we can document the training we're doing. You know, if we go full board, we're doing all this stuff because we think we're doing it right, and we just waste more and more time, we're gonna be in more trouble.
Right.
So if somebody's gonna be willing to kind of walk us through how to get into compliance, how to build your structure, how to prove to your employees that you're serious about it, and then we just maintain it. Then we can pull that safety culture moving forward. It needs to be involved in every meeting. It needs to be involved in everything we discuss. There has to be a safety spotlight or a safety discussion, just so that way it never gets forgotten. It can't be the least important thing, because once somebody gets hurt in a way that we can't fix them, there's no undoing that. You know, and it's something we have to live with, and we let that happen to that employee because we didn't take it serious before it happened. Ideally, we need to take stuff serious before things happen.
Sure.
And then we can really avoid the horrible mishaps, you know. I mean, seeing that person at the manufacturing plant that was in cleaning a mixer, somebody came across and turned it on. And then he was stuck in there for 5 hours till they got him out and then died immediately. You know, there's certain things that we need to learn. I mean, all the equipment that they have at secondary roads, which I do have to say, secondary roads actually has a really, really good safety culture. I went to their safety training, their safety rodeo that they had. They brought in a state patrolman and they discussed everything with the roads and how to tie down and how to strap your loads and how to double check that your truck's in good condition, and to hear how knowledgeable his employees are. Mike really challenges them to make sure that they're actually reading the stuff that they train on and that you're paying attention to it. So we do have one beacon, but we can run ours like him, but we got a lot of other office staff that aren't gonna necessarily relate. So he wouldn't have to necessarily change his program, what he's doing, because he's in compliance. We need to bring everybody else into compliance and try to mirror our one department that has so far a really good structure going and has proven like they're taking it serious. You can walk in secondary roads, you can see his yearly calendar what the training is. So you know it ahead of time. So things like that are where you keep it always on your mind. And we can do that by having meetings, by having little safety talks. Like you said, noticing a rub, noticing something wet in the ground, not thinking somebody else is gonna clean it up. you know, grab a paper towel, dry it up before somebody slips on it.
Mhm.
You know, we also have a lot of citizens coming into our building, so we want it to be safe for all of them too. So, we need to improve our safety culture, but we're working on it. They got us a hold of people, that are willing to help us, learn the structure. And he's very impressed by the people that I have on the steering committee. I didn't set it up, I'm just part of it. You know, it was all kind of us got together and decided to do it, and just being able to work with them gals is great, cause they take it very serious. And they're very dedicated, and I think we're gonna head in the right direction. We have the right attitude, we have the right people involved. I think we're gonna see a very, very nice, result for our county out of this. It's gonna take a while, it takes some work, but we have dedicated people that are willing to do it.
Mitch, have you looked into, I know Kelly has, into the NeoGov trainings, those are
Yeah.
free. Yeah, you could do that on a
Yeah.
quarterly basis. Wherever I've worked, you had to take those, you just take them on a computer and then they make you take them.
Yeah.
It's very helpful.
But we have to know that, how are we documenting who took it?
Well, we just had
You
to
know.
print off the certificate and they put it in your file.
Okay,
So-
but then does that go on the time card, that they signed that they did for it? You know, there has to be certain ways. If we don't document, if we can't prove that they did it, then it didn't happen.
Well, we just printed off the form that you took for class.
Okay, well, then Kelly's gonna
That's
need
it.
about 50 more filing cabinets.
No, it's not.
There's automated systems that.
Yeah,
That's true.
You can put that in.
At my previous employer, we had, to Diane's point, it was online training.
Yes.
And then, you check a box and it automatically sends a notification to HR that
Yep.
it's taken at what time and if they passed.
Okay,
And that way it makes it a little easier for her. And we actually had to do we did weekly reports and there was actually a section on there for safety.
mhm,
What do we do on safety? So we had to actually give reports to our manager every week as part of our weekly report. I'm not saying that's something.
but that's a great way to
do,
keep it in mind.
But it's a great way to
Proving we
keep
take
it in mind.
serious.
So, thank you very much for all of you doing that, Kylee, Kelly, Jess, and Mitch.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
It's our pleasure. I appreciate everybody I work with. I appreciate everybody I met down here, and I want everybody to be as safe in all of our grounds and buildings and at their work as they were when they came in.
Thanks, Mitch.
So, yeah, we've made some progress, we've evaluated different e-learning tools in that regard.
Yep,
and
and it's the learning that she was
has
talking
that.
about.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to stagger, you know, between in-person and online training. But you didn't tell them the best part.
Oh, yeah, with Don Kinney's training last month. So
Yeah.
that was one of the first reasons that Kylee kinda got involved with us, cause she was noticing that we have some safety risks and some thoughts of what would we do. So we also do happen to have a lot of very highly trained people that are very, very good at what they do. And we have some deputies and some local police officers that can give, workplace violence, active shooter training. It's nothing anybody wants. I mean, kinda brings some feels and gives you a little tickle in your spine, but it's something we're living in more of a world where we need it. And once you take it, it's something you can use in every aspect of your life. You can use it when you're shopping, you can use it when you go to the gas station, you can use it at a movie theater. You know, so to have those resources that we don't have to pay to bring in because we already have them on hand. And when we got employees that are really good at that, they like showing off the talent too. So why not let them show off the talent and then get another person to buy in? So he's asked to come to other meetings with us, and he's taking notes, and he's want to be involved. So the more people we are asking to get involved, you're finding out they wanna be involved. People just like knowing their input matters, and that they also want their other coworkers to go home safe. So, yeah, I did forget the best part.
Well, I was gonna talk about the fun we wanna have, and to let these ladies know that we're going to be asking for a budget. It's not gonna be big, little tiny little budget for safety committee,
Okay.
so we can work in some
We
maybe.
used to have a budget.
We don't
Right now, it's
There's,
$1,000.
yeah, we kinda got off course,
Yeah.
but we're trying to work to get back on it. There was a very strong culture, we just need to rebuild it.
Yeah.
You know, when we were having meetings in here, there's a lot of people said, that was the first one they've been to, or they haven't been to one of these in 5 years, you know, so we have a lot of work to do to get it rebuilt, but we have people that are dedicated and want to.
And we got good progress, so,
Yeah,
thank you very
and
much.
Jess is doing a great job, she's got good leadership, I appreciate Kylee and Kelly more than I can say.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All right,
Mitch.
Ryan,
I see them all. Hey, Ryan.
How we doing?
Yeah, I got it.
Thanks, Ryan.
much, whatever. I was like, uh-oh. I heard it before the meeting started, I was like, hey, text. It's all good. Just to give you a quick update on some stuff here, so kind of working top to bottom, if it's kind of got a highlight on it, it's where there's been a little bit of movement, where there's been some change since last time. So on the strategic plan, we did for filler, we did contract with the University of Northern Iowa to do a strategic plan for the organization. We hadn't had one that I could find anywhere. It seems kind of bad. So we have a contract with them, and the executive committee has finalized a survey to send out to you. We'll see that in your inbox at some point, a link to a survey to fill out. They're fairly open-ended questions. It's relatively short, probably do it in 15 minutes. Pick your brain, pick what you want. We'll also send that to other electeds as well. There will eventually be a committee that'll meet to discuss a lot of that stuff in March, and then also again in May to kind of help hammer out a plan moving forward. We did receive a $3,000 ripple effect grant from basically the telcos. So this process should run a little over $6,000. We're gonna get approximately half of that covered through this grant. One of the more consuming things we've been working on recently is we are working on a multi-unit commercial development in Winterset right now. It's early, we're still in due diligence period, so I'm not gonna give you too much there. There's significant infrastructure components, so we're trying to kind of hash that out. That's a particular time where TIF makes a lot of sense when the developer probably picking up the tab for infrastructure components. So that's part of the discussions around that. Think of it like fishing. We got a fish on the line, they're interested, we just, trying to slowly bring them in and try to get the information in front of them during the due diligence period on one project to get them to a point where they can make a confident decision to go forward or not go forward with it. So looking at our revolving loan fund, we currently have $85,000 in the tank with $90,000 in 5 active loans. We have 2 loans that look like they're gonna go forward. One of them is should be pretty straightforward. I think it's gonna be kind of a slam dunk for the committee, but we gotta put that packet together and get that to them. Hopefully we'll have that approved by our next board meeting, middle of next month. The other one is a lot trickier, collateral issues, and looking at cash flows and trying to see if we can make it work or not. So we're kind of in the scrum on that one. We'll see how that one comes out. We did have a revolving loan fund meeting with a separate business, which kind of ballooned into discussion about new construction or large scale remodeling. So we're early on in that project. We're here to support them as they kind of assess their options, and we try to help them with financing or however we can kind of get in there and assist them as they kind of assess their kind of path forward. We did discuss during the budget meeting the industrial site in Earlham. Do you guys have any questions talked about certification and what that process might look like? It's probably a multi-year process to get the certification. And so if you have anything that you wanted to talk about with that, we could definitely elaborate now. But that's still kind of high of mind in terms of like getting that to the point where we can get the large capital investment that we want to see on a project like that. Like I think we discussed in that meeting that we would like to see a build out of at least $250 million on that site if we get certification. So that's kind of a target on a project of that size. So on the foundation side of things, we have 5 new board members up and running. We're trying to get them onboarded here. We'll be doing that next month.
What are their terms, Ryan?
So foundation board members are 3-year terms, up to 3 terms, so you can serve 9 years, and then you have a mandatory 1-year siesta, which most people don't come back from the siesta. So. It's pretty light work, but usually it's like you served your 9, give you throw you a little party and send you out the door. So I think we had 4 people last time that served their 9 years. Jerry McDonald, Potabom, Pat Sullivan, and Hanfield Dad, I can't think of the 4th one. Susan McDonald. Yes. So they had served their 9 years and they rotated off the board. So. And the representation board is pretty well spread. We added a member from Truro and we added one from we did kind of net lose one from St. Charles in the process, but we're trying to see if we can pick that up next year. So. The foundation has $135,000 up to $135,000 in grants going out the door. That, application window is open till March 4th at 4 PM, Wednesday, March 4th, 4 PM. We have 3 grant applications in right now, we have about 8 others that we've had conversations on that are pending. So typically, we see anywhere from 25 to 35 grant applications come in a year. That's what we have going on. Do you have any questions?
Thank you, Ryan.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
All right, we have come to the time of public comment. Oh, I'm sorry, public hearing. We need a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are going into the public hearing for Bette Lanes Nirvana subdivision at 10:16 a.m. Ryan?
Good morning, board.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody else. Ryan Hobart, zoning administrator. This morning, we've got a public hearing for Bette Lanes Nirvana subdivision, which is 3 lots. I've asked Michaela, thank you, to pull the property location up on the TV there, so we can all see whereabouts this is at. The red line that you can see there is the city of Truro. Roughly by road, this is just over a half a mile from the incorporated limits of the city of Truro. Lane and Emily Stertz are the applicants and property owner. Requested action here is for the board of supervisors to approve said plat. Since section 22 of Ohio Township is currently zoned agricultural, and future land use plan of the comp plan shows it as transitional agriculture. It is the understanding of staff here that the owner developer will construct their personal residence on lot 1, and will market lot 2 and 3 as buildable lots for single-family residential homes. On the 2024 aerial imagery, you can't quite see it because we're so far out right now, but there appears to be a 20 by 32 barn constructed in the northwest corner of lot 1. This barn may or may not have been removed when it transferred from Betty Van Gundy to Lane and Emily. The remainder of the tract appears to be pasture land or prairie with a mixture of tree species in there. Looks like a lot of eastern red cedars from what we can see here. Staff is aware that there has been a pond constructed on lot 1. The pond has been recently constructed, therefore you cannot see it on the imagery that is up there. It is undetermined how or if the new pond will affect lots 2 and 3, which would be downhill to the south or below the dam of the new pond on lot 1 without any engineering review. By a brief search of the documents recorded within the Madison County Recorder's Office, a court officer deed was recorded on May 9th of 25, transferring this tract from the estate of Betty L. Van Gundy to Lane and Emily Stertz, with the value associated to the transfer being $145,000. I believe that Betty Van Gundy was a grandmother to Lane and Emily, or Lane. No portion of this tract is within the 100-year flood zone defined by FEMA. Staff has determined the CSR2 of this tract to be 46.06, pretty unproductive ground. Subdivision request is located within the 2 miles, obviously, of the city of Truro, and was subject to extraterritorial review. The city of Truro has provided a resolution that is to be recorded with the subdivision documents, and the resolution states, now therefore, be it resolved, the City Council of the City of Truro, Madison County, Iowa, said plat known as Bette Lanes Nirvana, Madison County, Iowa, prepared in connection with said plat and subdivision is hereby approved. Each lot within the proposed subdivision has its own driveway off of Wild Rose Avenue. This is a hard surface road.
It's a seal coat.
It's a seal coat, it's not a pavement, but it is a seal coat road. engineer's office has provided 3 permit numbers for those 3 driveway locations.
Ryan, are those 2 big draws in the top of the north part of this? It goes into what, this south, into the trail?
South River.
It does go into, so it's 2 big draws, is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, there appears to be one, and I'm assuming that might be where the pond was constructed to.
It's really just a giant ditch is what it is.
The,
retain.
The whole
that
property.
appears like draws is just a
Yeah,
giant
It's a
ditch.
giant waterway is what it is.
Is the pond, would it meet like NRCS specs, does it have an emergency spillway, so
Oh, yeah.
the dam would, it go
Yeah,
into the,
It's all done right.
okay.
Actually over right, it's rip wrapped, a lot of it, it's really nice.
Okay, so to staff's recommendation, I'm going to recommend approval of Bette Lanes Nirvana, but I do have some hesitation with respect to the county conservation's department comments. Those were related to potential prairie remnants and wetland. You guys have received the comments from them. The comp plan depicts the future land use of the proposed subdivision as transitional ag. That land use district represents an area of the county where agricultural is protected but limited. The transitional agricultural land use is intended to provide a location where agriculture can continue to thrive, but may at some point be influenced by growth in adjacent communities. Listed as an incompatible use for the transitional agricultural land use district is large-scale residential development. Staff's opinion that with the lot sizes per each lot being 10 acres, that would not constitute a large-scale residential subdivision. Just to talk a little bit more about conservation staff, they provided comments expressing concerns with the proposed subdivision in regards to potential for prairie remnant and wetlands. As zoning staff greatly appreciates the extensive research that the Conservation Department does provide for these subdivision reviews, as it obviously takes time for them to put those together. So I think the board should give significant weight to the report while making its decision. Without the environmental impact statement, the Conservation Department is recommending it is not feasible for zoning staff to determine whether or not the development will significantly or negatively affect the current ecosystem on the tract of land being proposed. Staff has given consideration to the Madison County zoning ordinance, subdivision regulations and comprehensive plan, and determined that what is being proposed for the most part aligns with the goals and objectives of each. Do you guys have any questions for me?
I did read the conservation board determination, and I did some research last night. This is kind of my neck of the woods, but if there are prairie remnants, it has been so smothered out by eastern red cedar, so because it's not been farmed since I want to say the 30s.
At least,
And
probably
so-
30. I'm 43 and I mean, it's just been growing since then.
And it's never burned off, so the prairie remnants, I don't know, they've been so smothered out, but, which is a sad thing. I do have a concern about 3 driveways. Why aren't we recommending 1 driveway and sharing as you get into the development? Because 3 driveways, if you go into other states, some states, Wisconsin and Minnesota are really good examples of limiting driveways because of the runoff into the road. If you go out west, they just have driveways every 15 feet. It is a disaster. So would
There's
that
a long
be,
spread between the driveways. Several hundred feet.
but it still goes on to the road.
And
They're 100 feet apart.
I don't know
It's
how
gonna
they
cause
could
a
do
bunch
it
of
on
people
there.
Yeah, I
fights,
know.
it's
It's
gonna
too
do.
narrow.
I don't know.
Who's paying for Ron?
I mean, it'll cause a bunch of people to fight is what that'll do.
Sometimes that does,
It always will.
sometimes,
So,
yeah.
I don't know that there's anything within our regulations
No, there's not.
or within Mike's wheelhouse of being
There's
able
not.
to say, you're only allowed one driveway onto a piece of property at this time.
And
so-
you're so far, you said 100 feet from each driveway?
There's several hundred feet.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
more than that.
Okay. Then you answered my question.
Thanks, thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, we have, we now are in the public hearing for members of the public that want to speak to this subdivision. Please come up and state your name and where you're from. You have 10 minutes.
Good morning, Nancy Forrest, 2299 152nd Street, Winterset. My concern is that the Conservation Board has given significant thought to this. If there's any chance that there is remnant prairie, Diane's comment that being, shaded out by cedar trees might in fact mean that the native plants and the quality of the prairie would be worthless or not worth saving. That is actually not accurate. Prairie plants are in a significant seed bank, and I have had over the last dozen years experience with prairie plants reemerging after light has been permitted to reach the ground that have not been seen for, again, 30 years, because I have the same, aerial photography about what the land looked like 30 years ago. Actually, cedar trees are in fact a refuge for native plants to persist despite otherwise very adverse circumstances. I recommend, as someone who supports prairie and supports native biomes, I recommend that there be a plant inventory taken prior to any change in the landscape in order to determine whether or not native prairie does still persist. It is not a difficult process to do an inventory, and it would be good due process for this board to demonstrate. We have previously lost high-quality native prairie because the board and others did not make a good decision. I plead with you to at least ask for the inventory step. Thank you.
Nancy, what part of, was it 89% of Iowa was native in the beginning?
Yeah. It's closer to 90-some%.
Was all high, tall grasses, because they called it a desert, they didn't know what it was, right?
We now have 0.1% of native prairie remaining in Iowa.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Steve Pearson, Director with Madison County Conservation Board, and I'd just like to reference our report that was submitted to Ryan and also the Board of Supervisors. And I'm gonna reference it and tie it back into the comprehensive plan, so. But the piece of property that we're referencing, we get requested by Ryan to submit a report. Our staff does extensive research on it, so I'm 100% confident in our report and what we've reported. This particular property is a very, very high probability that there's native prairie remnants on it and also other conservative species. Both native remnant prairies and wetlands are sensitive ecosystems to our state, and the county has deemed them sensitive habitats of great importance in our conservation, or on the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan also notes that these habitats should be identified and preserved. I know we don't have the ordinances in effect yet, but our department would highly recommend an environmental impact assessment. I mean, really, it's no different than like a soil loss assessment. We understand that it's still on private property. But we understood and agreed that we do not want to impose on private property landowners. We are only suggesting an environmental impact assessment to be done to be determined what the impact of this will have. This will educate both the landowners and the Board of Supervisors on what the property has to offer and the impact changes we have. With this information, other options could be explored. For example, the property could be a great contender for conservation zoning, which is referenced on page 152 and 153 of the comprehensive plan, or conservation subdivision discussed on page 139 of the comprehensive plan. It's almost the exact same scenario on how it will be implemented using the planned urban development as discussed on page 152 of the comprehensive plan. All we really want to do is just to take a look at the property before something is done that cannot be undone. We as stewards of the land owe it to at least that to protect the soil, preserve the water, conserve the habitats, and make choices that sustain future generations. So take that into consideration.
Thank you. Anyone else here wish to comment? Otherwise, I'll move to the phone.
I'll just say,
You need
it's
to
my
come up to
property.
the podium.
Did you want to
Right.
come up, please?
This is my property we're talking about here, and I wanna.
State your name and just the town.
My name's Lane Stertz, and what the town I'm from. Currently renting in Truro because we sold our house and we've been waiting to get this done to build, so it's been a process. Anyways, I grew up right near this property. Like you said, it's been overgrown, and I have tremendous respect for the, keeping a hold of, letting the high CSR properties, don't disturb them, we need them, and respect for all this. Like, this is a big ditch that's been overgrown for a long time. I grew up right next to it. And, you have 2.5%, 3% inflation every year. We need homes. Like, we need them to keep doing what we're doing. That's the way we live. So, as far as property goes that could be developed and be beneficial in a lot of ways for the communities, all that, this is one of them right here. If you come look at it, it's great for homes. Not great for cattle, can't grow anything on it. It's just very simple, so that's about all I have to say. Super simple.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anyone on the phone that wish to comment? Please hit *6 to unmute yourself. All right, we'll go ahead. I'll entertain a motion to go out of public hearing. So do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Okay, we are in the time for public comment now. I'll ask folks we'll have the folks here do comment, and then we'll have comment from the phone. So those on the phone, please be a little patient. If you wish to do a public comment, please come up and state your name and where you're from. And you have 3 minutes.
I'd like to say something.
Oh,
My husband and I agree on stuff probably 40% of the time. We've been married 50 years. We just agree to disagree and we compromise. We have a disagreement right now. We have a possum that likes to hang out by the back door. His inclination is to shoot it, mine is to feed it. We've compromised. We now feed it away from the house and it shares the cat food with the barn cat. We have to agree to disagree. We have to remain civil. We have to be kind to one another, and we're getting out of control. We are so uncivil, nasty to each other, and this has to stop. If you shout out or yell out, I would like the sheriff just to remove you. We can't act like this. We can agree to disagree, and it works fine, so please be respectful to one another.
all right, would anyone like to speak? Please come up and state your name and where you're from.
Sandy Dawdy, and my new frog, excuse me. Winterset. Before I start with my comment, first I would like to thank the county auditor, and the county treasurer for all of their hard work trying to dig us out of the hole that we're in. And I think I speak for myself as well of a lot of the citizens of Madison County, is that we are very, very, very appreciative. From there, I'd like to make my comments, starting with hypocrite. And I think we're all pretty familiar with the word hypocrite, but I will share this definition anyway. A hypocrite claims to have virtues, morals, or beliefs that they don't actually possess or follow, essentially saying one thing, but doing another, often criticizing others for actions they themselves commit. I find it now so hypocritical that Chairman Stancil and sidekick Supervisor Hobbs continue to profess their Christian beliefs, while their role model, Donald Trump, bully extraordinaire, convicted felon, with 34 felons to be exact, convicted of defamation and sexual abuse, fascist to the core, whose cruelty knows no bounds, who incited an insurrection at the end of his term when he didn't get his way, and is currently terrorizing Minneapolis with a paramilitary invasion, has no morals or ethics. Let me say that again. Chairman Stancil and Supervisor Hobbs' role model has absolutely no morals or ethics. Now, the big bombshell has dropped that Supervisor Hobbs said was forthcoming, and it turns out that County Attorney Swanson has, wait for it, a misdemeanor. OMG. Are you people for real? Do I need to remind you again of the definition of hypocrite? Truthfully, Supervisors Stancil and Hobbs don't care if County Attorney Swanson has a misdemeanor. Their only goal is to oust him because he did not become the doormat that Chairman Stancil had hoped for when she pushed through his appointment. So, where do we go from here? At this juncture, it appears that Chairman Stancil and Supervisor Hobbs should fire their outside counsel and foot the bill themselves, as this was not in the best interest of the citizens of Madison County.
Ma'am, your minutes is up.
Second, a mediator should be hired.
You can submit them if you'd like to the record, so
I
then we
would
could see the rest
certainly
of
be
your
happy to
statements.
submit. I will move to receive and file.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next person, who would like to speak?
My name's Josh, I'm from Lorimer. Good morning, everyone. I came here today to talk about transparency. Over the last week, information has come out related to the behavior of appointed and hired people within our local government. News articles have covered an application for appointment that was not filled out truthfully, and the truth is important. The board has been elected to represent everyone in this county, and this representation to the board isn't just an attempt to deceive the board, it's an attempt to deceive and defraud the people of this county. To make matters worse, the party that deceived this board was our county attorney, the person we have all entrusted with upholding the law, justice, and truth. There is no defense for this behavior, only attacks on the process and attempts to attack the messengers. I brought copies of documents supporting these claims and a copy of the application that shows exactly where this happened. I'm requesting these documents be entered into the public record. Thank you.
I have a motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye. Thank you.
All right, anyone else wish to comment? Otherwise, we move to.
That name in Winterset, I just wanna thank Sandy for her comments, exactly how I feel. a lot of other Madison County residents.
All right, anyone else wish to comment?
Yeah, Brent Sharon, Pro. This past 9 months, I've seen the interaction with Mr. Swanson with this board. I commented weeks ago about the outbursts of uncontrolled behavior. Literally minutes after, Stephen called in and screaming on the phone at Heather Stancil. Some things you just can't make up. Recently, reports came out where he was not truthful on his application about his arrest. The report shows that he appears to have an anger rage he cannot control, shoving a patron off his seat and cold cocking him while he's on the ground, removed from the bar. Once outside, he attempted to instigate another fight with a patron waiting in line, repeatedly lying to the officer about an Uber. This is an ongoing pattern that is troubling, consisting of lies and outbursts. From the Des Moines Register article in 2018, Mr. Swanson's termination notice in Wapello County, it noted the following. He was forced to resign for failing to follow standard court deadlines, resulting in multiple cases dismissed. At least 2 to 4 cases dismissed in each of 9 months because he failed to prosecute them within 1 year. He additionally had 15 cases where the 1-year deadline has been waived. Swanson's cases that were dismissed included charges of 3rd offense drunk driving, assault on a police officer, and carrying weapons. So much for backing the blue. In this time, he was suspended without pay, multiple counseling sessions explaining the corrections he needed to make. Swanson did not sign the notice, but submitted his letter of resignation that day. The Boone County attorney stated, "This history is troubling, especially for somebody who wants to be in the chief position." Steve said to the Des Moines Register, "I resigned. I was never terminated. I said that about 10 times now. That is 100% truth. Anything other than that is 100% fake news and a lie." This time of statement mirrors the actions here, where he repeatedly yelled at the board about the removal of Matt Schwartz. Stephen was also not truthful about this on his application. Frequent guests, Vicki Brenner, Katie Kaplan, pride themselves on investigative reporting. What do you think the odds are they both missed this article that provides context to Stephen's lack of professionalism? That takes willful suspension of disbelief. In 2014, Stephen posted on his Facebook that him and the sheriff really tore stuff up in Palo Alto. It appears that's what's going on here now. But it takes time from his actual responsibilities. That showed in Wapello County. Recently, Stephen provided a statement to the TV8 interview that only legal fees involved with this regarding outside counsel are related to Heather Stancil's lawsuit against myself and the sheriff. At the same time, he's saying he needs to find out what those fees are. 4, this is contradictory and a statement for propaganda and media without facts. All of this indicates a strong concern. Yep, I'm introducing this along with some statements online by Ms. Brenner and City Councilman Fletcher's wife conceding as well that was
So
not
move
right
to
for him.
receive and file. Your
I'll
second.
second that. All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
See what works.
Sorry, we're not very ADA compliant.
James Phillips, Winterside. So I'm here to raise concerns on behalf of Madison County taxpayers and ask questions that deserve clear answers on the public record. First, this board has incurred charges to a private attorney with reported costs already exceeding $20,000. If litigation proceeds, that figure could reach over 6 figures. But those costs do not remain or exist in isolation. Any legal action initiated by the board against the county attorney who has been nominated by Stancil for the position would almost certainly require the county to also fund outside legal representation for the county attorney. That means taxpayers are not only paying for one outside attorney, but 2 sets of outside attorneys to fight each other. Now, considering this could cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars, how are the taxpayers in Madison County served by an escalating and duplicative burden of legal fees generated entirely by internal conflict? What is gained? If the county attorney resigns because of this, or somehow forced out, there would be a cost of a special election because no one trusts this board to appoint another county attorney. Next, it has been publicly stated that the reason the board's outside attorney was selected is that they were not the lowest bidder because, quote, you don't want the cheapest attorney. This raises an obvious double standard. How many times has this board selected the lowest bidder for county services that directly support county residents, often citing cost control as the justification? Why is lowest cost acceptable when it affects public services, but unacceptable when it serves the board itself? Further, the chair of this board currently has a personal federal lawsuit against the county attorney, county sheriff, and 2 county employees. At the same time, the board has retained outside counsel who, according to Supervisor Hobbs, may be pursuing legal action against the county attorney, a prospect that Ms. Hobbs told the media she would relish making public. How can the chair maintain a personal lawsuit against the county attorney while also using the authority and resources of this board to engage additional legal action involving the same individual? Even if this is technically permissible, it creates a serious appearance of conflict. And it's difficult to not notice that 2 out of the 4 individuals that Supervisor Stancil is suing are simultaneously ongoing online smear campaigns. So I'll close with this. If this board believes it is appropriate to spend conservatively over $100,000 of taxpayer money to bypass and litigate against a county attorney, who do the residents of Madison County get to hire to bypass board members who no longer act in the public's best interest? We deserve a board of supervisors that fights for the residents of Madison County half as much as Mr. Swanson allegedly fights for nachos, and twice as much as this board cosplays as public servants. Thank you.
If you could clarify, you quoted me, and that's certainly not anything I've ever said, or written anywhere, so if you could research that a little bit, that'd be great, and let me know where I
You
said
said
that.
this was all about Swanson.
Well, no, you just added, you added it, so I'd be happy to have a conversation with you about it, I'll find it.
Okay. Any other comments? Otherwise, we'll move to the phone. Any other comments? Otherwise, we'll move to the phone. No, go ahead.
She'd like to speak. Rachel Terhar, rural Winterset. And I am here because, thankfully, there's a Madison report that allows for the public who can't attend things to be able to view online different meetings that are going on. So I was able to view the compensation meeting that just happened this past week, where that compensation board met to consider the request by County Attorney Swanson. And so I want to just voice my opposition to that, because in that meeting, he asked for a 13% raise, and apparently they wanted to approve that for him. But my concern is not simply the amount of that increase, but the way that the recommendation was reached and the information that was presented by Mr. Swanson to justify it. So during the meeting, for anybody who didn't get a chance to watch it yet, County Attorney did state that it was unusual or possibly unique in Iowa for a county sheriff to make significantly more than a county attorney. Well, that assertion was not supported by statewide data. A little bit of digging can help us determine, and that's what I was able to find out, that there are 17 counties in Iowa where the sheriff earns more than a full-time salary of a county attorney. However, the handout that Mr. Swanson provided to that compensation board that night indicated only 6 counties, therefore, or thereby omitting the majority of relevant counties and creating a misleading impression. Additionally, the salary comparisons were focusing on surrounding Polk County, and those are counties that have larger populations, larger tax bases, and a cost of living that's different considerably than Madison County. So equally troubling to me was that the compensation board received this manipulated data
on the same night that the recommendation by Mr. Swanson was being made. And from what I understood, just trying to tune in to what I was hearing, there was a request that it come to them earlier. In the recording that I listened to, one board member is heard openly stating that there was an awful lot of information to absorb, and making a decision on it was maybe gonna be hard, but no response was offered to that person's concern. And finally, much of the justification that County Attorney Swanson proposed centered on salary parity arguments and internal office concerns, but not on prosecution outcomes or public safety metrics or performance of his own job duties. So from the I'm gonna speak maybe just from my perspective, and maybe some of us in the public, it appears that the county attorney spends significant time in political squabbles rather than focusing on prosecuting crime. Thank you for my concerns.
Thank you. All right, anyone else?
Vicki Brenner, Winterset. How can we guide this conversation forward with respect, transparency, and accountability? Discussions regarding potential action against a county employee demand strict adherence to verified facts and procedural safeguards. Failure to do so invites chaos and liability. Supervisor Stancil bears direct responsibility here. Her admitted conflict of interest, born from her personal lawsuit against County Attorney Swanson, the sheriff, and 2 other employees, compels her immediate and total recusal from any discussion, motion, or action on related agenda items. Public trust crumbles when elected officials blatantly prioritize personal vendettas over duty. Her continued participation isn't mere oversight, it is a deliberate ethical violation of Iowa Code 68B.2a, which explicitly prohibits local officials from engaging in matters where personal bias or the appearance of impropriety taints judgment. County policies also reinforce this. Recusal is mandatory for conflicts, especially with agendas declaring, quote, discuss Swanson matter with possible motion or action, end quote. Stancil's refusal to step aside directly undermines governance and, more importantly, exposes the county to litigation. Over the course of the past year, we have seen some behaviors by more than one elected official that are unacceptable. Badgering Supervisor Fitch, so she left a meeting in tears. Being caught on a hot mic, disparaging our veterans department. Stancil accused me of spreading lies after a public health board meeting when she knew I had evidence to present. She is the one who brought Bergman in as a consultant because she knew Kaczynski didn't know how to do the job. She panicked when she found out that they hadn't vetted him properly and that Kaczynski shouldn't have signed the contract without board approval. All those involved realized they could be implicated in misuse of public funds or fraud. This toxic behavior is damaging the reputation and peace of Madison County, and it needs to stop. Citizens deserve assurance that taxpayer funds support legitimate public interests, not private vendettas. True leadership means stepping aside when personal bias threatens impartiality. Stancil must recuse now, no exceptions, no debate. Anything less makes every official complicit in eroding public confidence. You need to act decisively because the integrity of this county and public service hangs in the balance, and I would ask that you would receive and file my comments.
Do I have a motion to receive and file?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Anyone else in here wish to make a public comment? Otherwise, we'll move to the phone.
Do we have a hard stop at 11 or?
You have a hard stop. Well,
We're gonna have a
way
lot to
past.
table.
We have a lot to table.
Yeah.
We still have resolutions we have to get by. Well, we will allow two more comments. Because we have to get.
And we didn't specify that,
in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, sir, I'm sorry. Go ahead, your name and where you're from.
Doug Jurgens, Winterset, Iowa. I have something I'd like to share with the people.
I'm sorry, could you say your name again? I wasn't.
Doug Jurgens.
From
Winterset.
Thank you.
I have something I'd like to share with people that I believe is very relevant to the situation that we have here. And I'm gonna play this, and then I will explain maybe what it was.
He gives $50 for the campaign, he gave us excellent advice. But like, outside of just you. I don't know why that's what he does. Cause if he can bring back the connection, maybe say, it could look like you guys defrauded the taxpayers. I know. Especially if he doesn't have any kind of relevant experience. I know that. I know that. I could write up more other talk to Kylee. She said you had some good ideas about the second deputy thing, so I'm gonna go over and with her about that in about 20 minutes. Yeah, I got a call from somebody that she met at the, you did Aerosmith? That last name's Aerosmith. Oh, the Italian guy? Yeah. Yeah. I saw a guy last night. Republican, strong conservative, and he used to be, he was a treasurer for a large company and was a banker for like 30 years, retired early and is now bored. Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, I need to make a couple calls, because I'm pissed. Yeah, I know, I'm really pissed. Because he didn't cost me my position, and I'll probably get in trouble.
If anybody wasn't sure what that was a recording of Ms. Stancil admitting that she knows she defrauded the taxpayers. She admitted it twice. She said, I know, when she was asked if she defrauded the taxpayers. Said, I know. At the end of that statement, she said, this could cost me my position and I could be in trouble. Her words, not mine, right here, that we could all hear.
Have anything else to say?
I believe your resignation is a good. Thank you.
All right, anyone else for public comment? Otherwise, we will go to
Here's
the
the
phone.
gentleman
Right here. My name is Roger Wedel. I am from Earlham. Find my notes here. Sorry, I scrolled past them. There we go. So, I'd like to speak to the raise that the county attorney is asking for. But I'd like to approach it from a little different direction as far as the average pay for like populated counties. And how Madison County actually compares to counties of similar size. To give this the fairest possible comparison, we looked at those immediately above and below Madison County population, gave it an 11 county sample, refined by removing 2 counties whose county attorneys are part-time, leaves 9 counties, similar populations, full-time attorneys, apples to apples comparison. Here's what the data showed. First, when you rank these 9 comparable counties by attorney salary, that's what I want to address. Madison County sits dead center right in the middle of the pack. Not overworked, not underpaid, right in line with expectations for a county our size. Second, the average county attorney salary for these comparable counties is approximately $126,954. Madison County's attorney is currently paid $128,016. So he is already paid above the average for counties of similar population. Third, one argument that's been raised is that the
county attorney needs a raise because the sheriff makes more. That's already been addressed today. That's not an outlier for a sheriff to be paid more than an attorney. It is very, very common in our state. Madison County's attorney is already in the top half of comparable counties, and his salary is above the average of his peers as it currently stands. Given the financial pressures of the county, I think the responsible choice is to hold the line and keep that salary where it is. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I know we're on time crunch here, but I wanna make sure folks on the phone get a chance if there's anybody that wants to speak. If you are on the phone and you wish to speak, can you hit *6 to unmute yourself? And you state your name and where you're from, and you have 3 minutes. All right, let's go on and move out of public comment and move on to resolutions for board consideration. The first resolution is the audit resolution approved. Yes, I'm sorry. Did you need to say something? We're in. We are in resolutions for board consideration right now. So, I'm sorry, we are on a time crunch here, because we have folks coming in, so. Okay, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Steve Swanson from Winterset, Iowa. I just wanted to remind everybody that if you want change starts Monday night. Go to your local caucus. I believe the Republicans are at 7 o'clock, the doors shut at the Winterset High School. And I believe the Democrats are at the middle school, Early Community Center, St. Charles Library. Check to see where the caucus is. Change starts Monday night. Thank you.
All right, we'll go on and move on to resolutions for board consideration. Auditors, resolution for approving L. Coulter as auditor second deputy part-time, effective February 11th. This is a promotion for him.
It is. Well-deserved.
So, I'll entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. The next one is the annual TIPS certification for Madison County Urban Renewal Area, fiscal year 2027. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. The last resolution for consideration is approving the plot, Bette Lanes Nirvana subdivision. Do I have a motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have deep reservations because I think native prairies, and I think all of that is very, very crucial to our ecosystem. But there is nothing in the ordinances that I can really vote no, so I say aye.
I too, I agree with you, Diane. I think a risk assessment would be in order.
I don't think it would matter. I don't know, what would that, how long would that delay if we do have that?
How much would it cost?
And how much, yeah, and I don't know that we don't have ordinances to do that, so.
And the other thing too, I'm not opposed to that. The other thing too is for what purpose? So there are some statements here saying, so we'll know. Well, know what? I mean, we can do an environmental survey, but the property that's privately owned, what is that gonna do? I mean, he'll have the survey and he could do something to preserve the prairie, but there's no guarantee that he will. So I'm uncomfortable having an owner of a property spend money on a survey that's gonna be.
To what end?
To what end?
And I think the end will be that, my daughter had a possum that came in, she lives in Waukee, weighed over 20 pounds. There's gonna be nothing left, and we're gonna have to ask ourselves what we want, but it is landowner rights, I agree with that. We don't have anything in the ordinance, I don't like it, but I have nothing to vote against it.
If we do something like this might be something we might talk about. Is it fair for the owner to pay if there's no benefit to them?
So the end, so I.
So,
So it's definitely something we're gonna need to talk further and
Yes.
as we go through our
At
zoning
this point, we
ordinance
have nothing to
reviews.
stand on.
But right now, yeah, it is what it is.
all right, so any more discussion? Otherwise, I'll call the question. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, so we are on to licenses, permits, and cancellations. First one is application for use of the grounds of the Madison County Farmers Market every Saturday from May through October. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Motion approving application for renewal of the liquor license for the Madison County Winery effective March. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. The next one is the motion approving the application for liquor license renewal for Harrow Farm. Pepper Harrow, sorry, skipped over that. Pepper Harrow Farm, effective December 25. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved. Is that supposed to be 25?
Or 26? Did we?
Yeah, that's, no, that's correct.
Sometimes they just, it's behind the
It's
eight ball,
behind.
Okay.
especially when they convert it over from the
got it.
ABD to the new
Okay.
system.
Oh,
Thanks.
okay, alright.
Yeah, so moved.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries. So in the instance of time, do we wanna postpone reports or move the reports, or we don't?
Well,
Do you have something on the
They
agenda
didn't
already?
hear yet.
we can, there's a lot of this that we can postpone, but, I need to make sure that I'm on the right track regarding elderly services, and so I need to talk briefly about that.
Let's just go to that.
Okay, let's just go to that.
Okay.
Alright,
So, where we're at with that is, number one is confirming the indoor air quality, that it's safe and that there's no issues. I've talked with 3 different entities and, waiting on proposals for them to do that indoor air quality testing. I think that's the number one, item that needs to be addressed, but then there's also asbestos testing that we're going to have to conduct. There's a matter with this, used oil tank that's down under the building that I just learned about recently. And I have a message into the DNR, and I'm talking with some other folks about that, just to get information and data so we know what we're dealing with. But overall, I do have one quote, back for just updating the space and adding handicap accessible restroom. I was pleasantly surprised. Now, that being said, after having met with multiple contractors on site, and reviewing and hearing their thoughts and best approaches, what I'd like to do is just, further define the scope, so they're all quoting, pretty close to what we're looking for. I think this would warrant an additional meeting with the board, just to get you both up to speed and make sure that I'm on the right track, per your approvals as well.
I reached out to Natura. Their building is too small. Just wondering if they would consider selling their building, moving into public health, put public health, DHS, Natura, and veterans. Veterans are okay with it, cause then what the veterans can't supply, they could walk down the hall and Natura maybe can. The building would be big enough to house all of it, because they could have the whole basement.
so then we would charge Matura rent then?
Something, they aren't opposed to this because their building is so small. And then they could, because in other counties, they make a lot of money on what they sell, but we turn so much away because we're so crowded. The building is simply too small.
It is, and dropping off, there was some stuff that I donated from that,
Yes.
this empty space, there was a bunch of pulled out clothing and a bunch of warm stuff too, but they're really crammed for space, so I think maybe
And their
a
food bank
future-
is too small. So that would give them an opportunity, it would let us allow the county to keep a really valuable asset, but that would combine a lot of things that work together but do have different functions.
Well,
Just a
I'm
thought.
open to all the options, and so I'll continue to pursue, I think either way, we wanna get into air quality testing at the elderly services building, not just in the space we wanna remodel, I've had included for the elderly services space as well. I think we need to do that regardless, of whether or not we're gonna be remodeling and using the space right away or soon, or if it's future. I mean, I would like to address that, but I think it would warrant a work session with us so we can kind of talk through
I
it.
think we need that space for county conservation board, because they no longer have anywhere after they sell their buildings to park their equipment. So that back garage is what they are going to need.
Are they
They
gonna
have no
need-
other place.
Are they gonna need both bays though? I don't think so.
He said yes, he's shaking his head yes.
Do we need both bays?
The question for our equipment out there?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we got several pieces of equipment that we've got stored out there, tractor, mowers, skid loaders, so.
But we're talking about the office space, not the warehouse space.
Yeah, if you're talking about the office space, we don't utilize the office
Okay,
space, we use
so-
the bays.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
technically 3 bays out there,
Right.
Well, yeah.
where we used to
Right.
park the ambulance.
Yeah, I know.
We're really cramped for time.
So,
We'll look into
so we
this.
can, so why don't we set another, work session to talk about it?
Okay.
Okay. The next one, ADA reports,
I think we're gonna have to.
You
table
can
that
read
we
too.
can table that. I don't know if you guys have read it or not.
I
but yeah,
have.
some good information on
Very
there.
good stuff.
Fiscal 23-24 audit, I've just put these in the budget as standing items, so we can talk about them in a meeting, if you ever could have brought it up. I've never heard back from the county attorney regarding, you said that was the one, talk to the treasurer and talk to the county attorney.
And
for-
then we just got 2 more emails, so
Yeah,
it's, yeah.
Okay,
it's-
so we
it's
still
in
don't have, we
progress.
still don't know. Okay. And then budget, we can table that, and do a work session if we need to. Discuss appointment to the planning and development board under new business. That was put on here because the question was asked if we should, repost for the position. I think we should.
I agree.
Do you need to repost, or do you have a bunch of names in there?
We only had 2.
Okay, so we'll
So
repost.
we can repost, the reason why it's on the agenda is I wanted to have the board, decide what direction to give Kelly, so, or back in this case,
So we'll repost.
So we'll repost, okay. And the next one is grants, that was you.
Yeah, we did get a ISAC grant. We were awarded for $1,000, so that's great, and I'll get that information to Auditor Brandt and her team, so they know to expect the checks can be mailed to them for that.
What does it have to be used for?
It's gonna be.
It was, we applied it to the Hornstrow purchase, something we'd already purchased actually for the courthouse.
The one that went bad.
It's almost done.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, and the last item, under new business is discuss the Swanson matter, possible motion for action. I know the members of the public were speculating what this is about, their assumptions are incorrect. So the matter in question is, we've had several people, both online, on the phone to me, and here, express concern about some of the, stuff that's come out about our county attorney. I don't think it's appropriate, for the board to, decide anything on that. He's appointed. So the motion I'm requesting is to refer any concerns the board has to the Iowa Attorney General's office, and they can deal with it. So rather than it being on our plate, we could have, we can direct our concerns to the board attorney, and then he can forward it on to the Iowa Attorney General, and then it's off our plate, and they can, however they wanna handle it, they can handle it. So, and I did ask our board attorney if doing that is considered a conflict. He said no, because I'm not taking direct action on him. The actual responsible party is gonna be somebody else. So I would entertain a motion to do that.
I will make a motion to refer the Steve Swanson matter to the state AG's office and the people who have the decision-making authority to address it.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, please vote aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is ordinance review and update. Ryan, where are we at with that?
We're meeting tonight at 6, from 6 to 8 to continue as a work session.
Okay.
Thanks, Ryan.
So have you had a lot of public feedback on the initial draft?
Yeah, but I think it's because it was so far from the ending document.
Yeah, it's
It
kind of like
raised-
the first draft of the comp plan and then the final draft.
Raised a lot of concern.
Yeah, So, well, thank you so much for continuing to work on that. All right. Other than that, do we wanna set a time, since we're here, before we adjourn for a work session?
Well, let's clarify, Michelle, what did you
She had asked
recommend?
us, so if you're gonna talk about the, elderly services building and that's fine.
Okay.
The budget, I would respectfully request, again, just to be more efficient with your time, instead of regurgitating stuff we don't know.
Waiting until
Waiting
after
until, I'm gonna say,
the 13th, so
the third week, I would say the third week, so rather, week of the 16th.
So we also still haven't met with, AFSCME either about the union contract.
Yeah, that can proceed without me, that's fine.
So Kylee, have you had any movement on that, or heard anything about that, or? 'Cause we
Yes,
just had a meeting
it's
for
coming
that.
shortly.
Okay.
He's been very busy, but knows that we're anxious to move forward in this.
And Lance will be shadowing and learning from Mac.
Okay, and that's something you're okay with us meeting?
Yeah, yes, cause you're just going to be gathering information,
Information,
and it'll be up to you guys anyway, so
Now-
that's fine.
What about, just to clarify, so we've got Assured Partners, an option for, health insurance benefit, alternative. You probably want to be in on
Yep, I
that
do.
call, and they're asking if February 12th or Friday the 13th would work. So I'm gonna say, based on what you've said, no, that wouldn't be preferred.
Yeah, and we do we have President's Day off?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so the 17th would be nice,
Okay.
How about if we just?
and then you could do your, I'm sorry, Diane.
Well, I think we should just refer to you when you set up the meetings. We know it's
Well,
the 17th, so.
Actually, the board,
What time?
chair sets up the meetings, and so,
What time on the 17th?
probably not on 9:30, that's the standing.
But that's our standing,
Yep.
as we have it open.
And then you got an evening meeting on the 10th, that might be that afternoon of the 10th, a good elderly services time, but then unless that's too far out.
Yeah. I
The
think-
17th, on the 10th?
Nope, the 10th for elderly services and talking about that.
Is that far enough out, or do you want it sooner to talk about that so we can get direction?
I would like a really quick one sooner, as soon as I get all the indoor air quality testing pricing back, so we can make a decision on that and get that going.
So let's go February 3rd, just have a workshop.
Are you okay with that?
Mhm.
February
What time?
3rd, 9:30, and it'll be a special meeting, because we have to take action or give direction.
Okay.
So we'll do a special meeting at 9:30 on February 3rd for that, and we can also include not just elderly services, we can talk about public health too, just the whole plan,
Yeah,
maybe a plan.
yeah. What about, I know we talked about the handbook, that's gonna be a separate.
I think
That's gonna be a long meeting, so
Yeah,
that
it's
needs to
gonna
be
be a
separate.
long one,
Yeah.
so.
And we need to be
At
considerate.
least that
If
doesn't make
somebody
it quick
waiting for this
then,
room.
you know what I mean?
Right.
That doesn't make it quick.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. So let's, possibly we just put together some dates and exchange some emails and which topics we're thinking.
Okay.
How much time we need for each.
Yeah, okay.
Is that fair? And then maybe you'd be the keeper of the
I'd be
coordinator?
happy to, cause I'll be online, I'll be available.
Okay.
It's just,
So, but February 3rd is something we're gonna be looking at.
Yep, 9:30.
and nothing yet on the 10th,
And
nothing yet on, earlier in the afternoon on the 10th.
Nothing yet.
So let's hold some time, just since we all kind of talked about it.
Okay, so February 10th, we have an evening meeting, do we wanna do, I don't know, 4? Cause our regular meeting is at 6, or you wanna do it 3?
What's this one for, the 10th at 4?
Why don't you do the handbook?
Handbook.
I'm only,
No?
I'm available in the afternoon between 1 and 3 would be better for me.
That's
I
fine.
need some time between that, before that.
Okay, so February 10th, is this gonna be a special or a work session? Work session? Okay, so February 10th
That
between,
might be a good,
1 and 3?
union.
Okay.
Does it need to be before that? The union, does it need to be before it?
Before what?
AFSCME, your AFSCME meeting?
I
You could
didn't
have
hear
it
the first part of what you said.
Do you need it before the 10th on AFSCME?
It'd be ideal.
Yeah, okay. That might be what you had under the 3rd, the union.
So we might need
That's
to.
Two meetings.
So,
We could go 9:30 to elderly
We'll
service
still be
special meeting,
ready.
then we could go 10:30 for asking.
yeah,
Alright.
That's fine.
yeah. So elderly, public, and then the closed for the,
Yep.
okay,
And that'll be a nice practice.
okay. All right.
So nothing on the 17th either after that?
Well,
Nothing
we're
is
9:30
17th, no.
hold.
I mean, there's still a 9:30 vote, but nothing.
Okay.
All right, okay, well, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.